Welcome back to another episode of Browser, Albany Public Library's show where I recommend downloadable books and audiobooks, which are available on Overdrive, Libby, and now Hoopla. For our first segment today, we're going to talk about feelings. Over the past month and a half, we've had plenty of opportunities to feel. At times, I felt frustrated and confused and angry. I felt sad for those sick and hurting. I felt comforted in all the expressions of love and togetherness amidst that pain. I felt anxious putting on my face covering and going out for groceries. I felt giddily happy when friends I hadn't talked to in years reached out to get in touch. At the risk of adding to your emotional load, I want to recommend the next two books that really put me in my feelings, in very different but equally healing ways. The first, for a good belly-aching laugh and so much more, is Josh Gondelman's recent Nice Try, available on Hoopla. I've seen this author perform stand-up comedy and can, with absolute confidence, say he is the funniest, nice person on earth. He is known for giving pep talks on Twitter and as a writer for the hilarious Desus and Mero show on Showtime. But this book is as good a place as any to get acquainted with the funniest nice person. Gondelman's book has so much heart and humor. Read this and feel like you've made a new best friend. Oh, and I can't not mention Gondelman's dedication to his wife Maris, which might be the most perfect dedication ever. The next book I'd recommend is Ted Chiang's Exhalation, available on Overdrive and Libby. Ted Chiang's stories are best known for their feats of imagination. These stories are also inventive and all make you think and are wonders for that. But I am here to tell you that Chiang is, perhaps before all else, a master explorer of human emotion. Those who have seen Denis Villeneuve's film Arrival, an adaptation of one of Chiang's stories, know that for all of that film's intellect and interest in big ideas, it's also a story that at its core is about human connection and deep, deep emotionality. These stories are the same. The first story in Exhalation is about time travel, but sci-fi fans be warned, this is less science fiction than it is one of the most heartbreaking, heart-searching stories I've ever read. It had me thinking of all those I love and thinking of how to make sure that that love is loved fully. Read it before I start welling up.
The story I have to tell is truly a strange one. And were the entirety to be tattooed at the corner of one's eye, the marvel of its presentation would not exceed that of the events recounted. For it is a warning to those who would be warned, and a lesson to those who would learn.
As those who know me can attest, I have trouble committing to a favorite anything, much less a favorite book, which is probably the same reason I have no tattoos and stare at restaurant menus for much too long. I have plenty of favorites, plural, but not a favorite. But that's not to say I have anything but complete respect for those able to pick a favorite. A bold, wonderfully brave commitment. Years ago, I read somewhere that Stephen King's favorite book is Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian. I thought to myself, that's a great favorite book. Good on you, Stephen King, for committing to a favorite book. A couple years later, I saw a link to an article on Stephen King's 10 favorite books. I clicked on the link, boasting to myself, that's cool, I know what number 1 is. The article slowly materialized on my screen, my eyes scanning for confirmation of what I already knew. I felt duped. Blood Meridian was not his first favorite book, or his second favorite book. It wasn't even in his top 5. It was 10th. Scandalized, I did some research, found other interviews and lists, and it turns out that Stephen King likes calling different books his favorite book. At first angry that I lived this lie, I realized how liberating it might be to pick a favorite something. It doesn't have to be lifelong, perhaps somewhere between picking a meal off a menu and getting a tattoo. So, drum roll please as I take the lead. This is my favorite book. Available on Overdrive and Libby, Treci McMillan Cottom's Thick is so rich. Rich with insight and truth, this is the kind of book that I desperately tried to put down just because I wanted it to last longer. The writing itself is so good, at times it seems impossible. Over the years, I've tried giving up underlining passages and annotating the margins of my books, but Thick tested that resolve more than any book I've read in years. I could sit here and list off all the things that a good book can be, and know that this is that book that is all the things that a good book can be. Pick this up and savor it. I know I will be savoring it for years. That's it for this week's episode of Browser. Tune in next week for an interview with and some recommendations from director, playwright, and comics writer Sean Lewis.
Uh-oh, you're freezing up on me.
Oh, God.
Hello? Hello?
You got me?
It's making the deep dive sound.
It is.
I don't know if you can hear me at all.
I can hear you right now. Are you there?
Oh, okay, now you're coming. Yeah, you're coming in now. Sorry, it just went away for a second.